Okay, so class, today's topic is Express.js middleware. Now, middleware is an important uh, topic for Express, and middleware help us to perform variety of things. Okay, now I'm going to start with the PPT first and explain what is actually the middleware is. Now, if you talk about middleware, then you can easily understand what is the meaning of middleware. So middleware means that is in the middle. So whenever we are dealing with client server model, the user requests for the application, request for the resource, and the server has to respond back. Okay, now at that middle of the point, your middleware will exist. Okay, because it is in the middle of the client and the server, so it can handle, it can access both a request object, and it will also access the response object. Now, middleware also has a special function called next function that will call the next middleware or the next route of the application. Okay, so the middleware has the special function that is next. Okay, in the response, in the request response lifecycle. Okay, now if there will be a starting point where the user can request, and there will be endpoint, the endpoint on the server machine, then the user will request for a particular resource using the client request, and the request goes to the server, and the server have to reply back with the response object. And this, the whole process is called request response cycle. Okay, now the express has to handle the client request. Now express can handle the request, but it is now divided into multiple chunks, and these multiple chunks are called middlewares. So middleware are just the functions, just the functions, and and middleware can call to the next middleware using the next function. So whenever the first middleware completes its execution and it want the control, it send the control to the another middleware or to the application, he can use the next function. And similarly, the next middleware or the next application can send that uh, control to the third one using the next, and similarly next, and finally once the server execute all their tasks, and we will finally get the response. Okay, so this is the actual working of middleware. Okay, now what are the different types of middlewares available? There are different kind of middleware that we can use in our application. First middleware is known as application level middleware. Now, what is application level middleware? Application level middleware are those middleware that will work for the entire application. Similarly, we have router level middleware that will work for the routing or some for some specific route. Similarly, we have error handling middleware that will handle the errors. We have built-in middlewares that are already available in the Express, and we also have a third-party middleware that will be available for using the third-party tools, like we use body parser, cookies parser. So that is basically the third-party middleware. Okay, now I'm going to explain application level middleware with the help of an example. Okay, so let me take to you to an application, and I have created a small application named as middleware.js, and we have created a basic Express application. So we require the Express module. We have initialized the application, and we are listening the application on a particular port, that is 3000. Now let's start with the uh, application level middleware. And for the application level middleware, let's create some basic routes. Okay, so I'm going to create the first route, that is the home route. Okay, and for handling the request, we are creating request and response, and we are creating the arrow function and handle the request. So let me response dot send, and this is called home page. Okay, now let's create a console also, and for writing as home page. Okay, now let's create another route, that is, we can say that uh, dashboard. Okay, and this is a dashboard page. Okay, dashboard. Now let's create another route, and I'm creating this route as a post for the user, for posting some data on a user page. Okay, so I have created 3 routes. Now let's create an application level middleware. Okay, for application level middleware, I'm writing app level middleware. Now, what is application level middleware? Application level middleware will work for all different kind of routes. For every route, it will work. Okay, let me create a basic one. Okay, so here for creating a middleware, you have to use app.use function. So use is basically that we are using this function as a middleware. Okay, now, so first of all, let's create a function here. So I'm using the arrow function, and in this arrow function we having a request object, response object, and a next. Now let's write it a simple console. I'm writing this is an app level middleware. Okay, now what happened whenever I execute the application, and when we visit to any route, this application level middleware work. But for working of this middleware, we have to use the next function, because next is an important function that will first display the middleware, and then this next function will make the request back to the particular route. Okay, let me save the code, and let's see what is showing on this dashboard. Okay, now at the same time we are executing our application. Okay, so here we are using localhost 3000. Okay, so see, when I go to that route, see, this is an app level middleware. So middleware first called, and then your with the help of next function, it will make your request to the route. Every time whenever you request for a particular route, it will first, the middleware will execute, and then a particular route will be respond back to the user. See, I'm writing, say, dashboard. See, this is an application level middleware again called, and then the dashboard page will be called. Okay, now the third is the user request, but I cannot call the user request here because the user is a post request. For creating the post request, we have to either send the data to the form, but here we are not creating any form. And how we can send the data to the how we can send the reply using the for the post request. So for that post request, let I'm going to show you another utility, VSCodeExtension, that will call the post request in your VS Code itself. So how we can do it? For that, we have to go to the extension, and you have to find REST client. Okay, so this extension you required. So this is a REST client. Okay, and you have to install it. Once it has been installed, you have to create a new file, and you have to create as a, say, I'm creating a new file, say request dot rest. So in order to use this services, you have to create file and named as dot rest. Okay, now I'm creating this extension. Now here I'm have to create a post request. For creating a post request, just write post Okay, now see, the post method request has been started. Now you have to write the address where you have to point. So that is HTTP localhost, and that is user. So this is your request now, user. This is your post request. So I have created the post request. And similarly, if you want to create your get request, you can also create get request. So just you have to write triple hash and you have to write get. Okay, now you can copy this get request as well. So we have also dashboard. So let's create a dashboard. Okay, sorry. Okay, we also have a home request. So I'm just copy paste it. Okay, so it will create a home route as well. Okay, so first of all, let's test the post request, because we need this utility for handling the post request. Instead of having the postman, we can also use this REST client. But even in the coming classes, we are also discussing about the postman. But now let's discuss the basic REST client extension that can help you to execute your you can hit your URL post URL using this extension. See, let I'm requesting for this post URL. Okay, so because we have constructed the post uh, response for the post request, so this is the console on the screen, and this is send message that will be displayed on the screen. So let call this post method. We have to click on the send request button. Okay, once you send the request, see the user page is displayed onto the response screen. It is similar to the browser, and here you have seen this is an application level middleware. It will be called now because we have created application level middleware. That's why it is always called. And see, user page also display. So it means we have called our post request using the REST client of VSCodeExtension. Now you can also call the get request. Click on the this send button and see your middleware will first call, and then dashboard page is also visible. See, these are the same output that we are getting using when we click on this dashboard. Okay, same. Okay, this is the same thing. Similarly, if you hit the home URL and the home page, now you can also click on this home page, click on the send button and see the middleware call first and then home page. So the application level middleware will always call for the all application. Okay. Now, I want to also explain one more important thing. So let's close this. Now, I'm going to create one more middleware. So let's copy this and I'm writing this is middleware 2. Okay, and this is middleware 1. Now, the middleware order matters. Middleware order matters. So if you make this middleware in the starting, so this is the middleware 2 and then middleware 1. Okay, now if I execute the application, then first your middleware 2 will be called and then middleware 1 will be called for every request. So see, let me start the application. So let me request for the home page. Now see, this is a middleware 2 will be called. What happened with the middleware 1? Okay, I'm just writing outside one now. Okay, see, for the home page, middleware 2 will be called first and middleware 1 called, and for the rest for the other pages as well. So dashboard, see, middleware 2 called and then middleware 1 we called. So the order of the middleware, the position of the middleware will also matters. One more thing I'm going to explain you. See, now I just want the middleware 2 should be called after the after your request have been called. So I'm moving this now outside up just before the get, just before the get. Now I want this middleware will be called after this home page. So you have to click on the you have to create the next here, and here you have to call the next method. Now it will be a very interesting, and I'm removing this next here. So after this, then it will not call to any other middleware. Okay, now see, I'm saving the code. Let's execute the application. Okay, now see, I'm calling for the dashboard. See, first the middleware called, then the home page, and then the middleware one is called. Now let me check for the dashboard. Okay, so middleware 2 first called, then the middleware 1 called, and because in the middleware 1 we have not specified any next, so it will not go to the dashboard page, because we have set up the middleware between the first and then second and then the next. Okay, so let me make it. See, now middleware 2, middleware 1, and then dashboard. Okay, so this is the working of application level middleware. So I hope everyone understand what is the middleware, application level middleware. Now let us use the application level middleware for logging the data, because the main important point of why we use middlewares, we use middleware for doing something and for the application purpose. So see, we can use middleware for logging information, and for that logging information, that middleware is called logging middleware. Okay, so it means for every request it will log every information of the user. Now how we can create this, let's see. So here, let me modify the code. Okay, let me modify the code. So I'm removing middleware 2. Okay, I'm removing this next from here, and let me move this middleware at this point. Now instead of this console, let me remove everything, and here I'm using backtick, and here I'm writing log. I'm logging every information now. So here I'm using dollar, and here I'm request dot write the URL. Okay, now after that I just want the method, and I also want the date when the user logged in, so I'm trying to get every possible information of the user. Okay, every possible information of the user. So let me save the code. Let's see how it works. So if I request for the home page, see, let me show you something. See, I'm getting logging information that the user request for the home route. This is a get request, and the request is hit at Tuesday, April 2020, 11:28:10 GMT, Indian Standard Time. Okay, so I'm logging the information. Now let me handle the dashboard. See, the user request for this particular route, and this is a get method, and we are handling this. Now we can also handle the post. Okay, for the post method, let me open that request.rest, and let me handle the post request. See, this is okay, user page. Now see what is having. I'm also getting the logging information for this page, having the post method, and the request is handled at a particular time. So I'm logging every information of the user. Even I can log the IP address of the user. How we can do that? Just write, just remove this. Okay, and close this. See, if you want to get the IP address, you can also do that. So I'm just copy it, and here instead of method, just write IP. So I can also get the IP address of the user who requests for a particular resource. I'm saving it, and let me access the dashboard. So this is the dashboard URL, this is the method, and this is the IP address. This is the IP address. Okay, because I'm working on a local machine, that's why the IP address look like that. But it is if we are working on the other server, then other server or other machine, then IP address will be the actual IP address of the machine. Okay, so this is kind of the logging information I'm collecting using the app level middleware. Okay, understand? So let's talk about the next router level middleware. Okay, now because we have not studied routing till now, and uh, there is a router in every routing, we can also discuss route level middleware here. Now, what is route level middleware? Route level middleware are those middleware that work for a specific route, that will work for a specific route. Now, how it can be work? So let's see the code. So let me create a route level middleware for this user. Okay, no, not for this dashboard. Okay, so there are two ways of creating the route level middleware. One is the same way that we have discussed here, using the app.use. See, app.use, and I'm making this as console.log, and I'm writing here a router or route level middleware. Okay, and here you have to specify the route. Here you have to specify the route, that is slash dashboard. Okay, so this is a specific, so this is a method one of declaring route level middleware. Now this is the first way, this is the usual way and everyone doing, but we are not doing like that. Okay, so I'm commented. Okay, now other ways, whenever you define the routes, at that time you can also define their middleware. So I am writing the name of the middleware. I'm writing the name of the route level middleware. So the function name, actually the middleware is nothing. Middleware are functions. So this auth, I have to be creating a new function here. So I'm creating function. The name function is auth. Here the same request object, response object, and the next. Okay. So let's create. Now it is similar to that. It is similar to that. Here we have to specify that we are creating a middleware and for specific route. Okay, everything remains same. So I just copy these two things and this here. Let me comment this. Okay, now this is almost similar. Let me save the code. Okay, now this route will be called for the specific route only, for not for the entire. There are, if there are several routes, for it will work only for this specific dashboard route. Okay, now see, save the code, run the application. It's already running. Let me move to this. Okay, now when I refresh for this page, see, first it will call the application level middleware, because this is application level middleware, works for every route. Now see the next route level middleware, and it works for only this dashboard page. Understand? So route level middleware will work for a specific route only. Okay. Now let use another important feature of, you can say, that application of route level middleware. So I told you that route level middleware can also be used for authentication middleware, act as an authentication. Now what is authentication middleware? So uh, authentication level middleware are those middleware that are basically route level middleware. And if the user wants to access a particular route, it first need to be authentic. If it is an authenticate user, then the application allows you to access that page. If the user is not an authentic, then the user responds back to a saying that you are not an authentic user. Okay, so with the help of root level middleware, we can perform authentication in your Express application. Okay, let's perform this authentication level middleware. So I'm trying to explain that if user want to access this dashboard directly without authenticity, then it then the authentic middleware will be called, and it will check is the user is authentic user. If authentic user, then it will open the dashboard page. If it is not an authentic user, it will not open the dashboard page. It will give some other message. So how we can do this? We are using this authentication level middleware. Okay, here I'm just writing if I'm just checking the credential of the user, like we do in the login page. And I'm not that going to that login page, but I'm checking a basic kind of things. So if the request dot query dot password, if I'm just checking the password, if the password is admin, then the user is allowed to log in to the dashboard page. So I've just put the next into the if. So if it is not an authentic user, then you can just respond back with saying that you are not authentic authentic user. Okay, this is a message that will send back to the user. Okay, so I'll make use of a route level middleware for authenticity. Okay, now let me save the code and let me check. Okay, now let me open the dashboard itself, the terminal. Okay, see, I'm trying to access the dashboard. I'm trying to access the dashboard. Okay, when I press enter, it gives me a message. You are not authentic user because you are not providing any password. You are not providing your credential. You are just trying to enter into the page that is not available for you unless you are authentic user. So it means you have to go back to the sign in page and again enter your correct username and password. But here I'm not doing that. I'm just doing a lock. I'm not doing a basic authentication. So uh, it will showing that it will also give the logging information because application level middleware is also working. Now if the user entered with the correct password and the password is admin, okay, even we can do this like here, but actually it is not like that. Actually there will be a form, and in that form you have to write the correct username, correct password, and then the dashboard will be open now. But I'm for explaining you, I'm just doing this way. So if the password is admin, then the application allows you to enter into the dashboard. Okay, see now the dashboard, I'm getting the URL. This is the URL I'm looking for. If the password is admin, then the user is allowed. Now if the password is wrong, suppose I'm trying to enter with some another way, suppose admin one, still it is not give you the authentic user. You are not authentic user. If I'm trying to enter some password, I'm trying to guess this may be the password, but if the password is wrong, then you will throw out to the from the dashboard page. You are not allowing it into the dashboard. It will give you the page. Even though you can redirect to the signing page. Okay. So that will be a kind of assignment for you. You have to create a login form. Once you enter the credential, click on the sign in. You are into the sign in page. You have to go to the dashboard page if you are enter the correct username and password. If you are not allowed, then it will again open the sign in page. That will be your assignment. Okay, we will discuss that assignment as well. Okay, so class, today we have discussed application level middleware and router, or we can say that route level middleware. So in the next class we will definitely discuss what are built-in middleware, what are error handling middleware, and what are we can say that third-party middleware, even though we have already used that body parser, but in the coming class, we will definitely trying to execute some third-party middleware. Okay, so class, this is all about Express middleware. Thank you.